The storm outside seemed determined to swallow the city whole that night. Lightning slashed across the sky, and thunder shook the windows of San Lucas Hospital. Inside the pediatric emergency room, chaos reigned. Doctors rushing, children crying, nurses struggling to maintain calm. In the eye of this human storm stood Clara. A nurse with over 15 years of experience, Clara had seen it all. Brutal accidents, rare diseases, heartbreaking goodbyes. But nothing, absolutely nothing, could have prepared her for that night. At 2:13 a.m., just as the emergency ward was beginning to quiet down, Clara was called to the triage room. "They found a child abandoned in the street," explained the attending physician, his face weary. "No documents, no information. The police brought him here before calling child services." A chill ran down Clara's spine. When she entered the small room, there he was. A boy about 4 years old, sitting on a gurney, soaking wet from head to toe, shivering not only from the cold but from fear. His eyes were huge, a deep brown, holding entire worlds inside. He didn't cry. He didn't ask for help. He just looked. Silent. Clara approached slowly, kneeling to meet his gaze. "Hi there, sweetheart. My name is Clara. You're safe now, okay?" The boy didn't respond. But in that instant, something invisible and unbreakable connected their hearts. Clara, who had spent years caring for others' children, felt something entirely different. An impulse beyond duty, beyond compassion. It was as if that silent gaze was pleading, screaming, for someone, for a mother. She extended her hand without pressure. After a few eternal seconds, the boy reached out his tiny, freezing hand and touched hers. It was enough, a simple gesture, yet it sealed a destiny. That night, while filling out admission forms, Clara made a decision that would change not just the boy's life, but her own. She didn't know how or when, but she knew one thing. She would not let that boy face the world alone. If this story has already touched your heart, subscribe to our channel. Here we share stories that deserve to be remembered. Turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any. Clara was well known in San Lucas Hospital's corridors as the nurse with the giant heart, but few knew why she dedicated herself so passionately to the children. Clara's own childhood was scarred by a deep absence, her mother's. Her mother died in a car accident when Clara was just 6 years old. Raised by her father, a good man but emotionally distant, Clara grew up missing something vital: a comforting embrace, a welcoming gaze, a lap to collapse into without fear. That void shaped her. Clara became a natural caretaker. At school, she protected the weaker kids. In nursing college, she chose pediatrics without hesitation. It was as if, by caring for other people's children, she was slowly healing the wounded child within her. Still, a quiet emptiness remained, a space in her heart waiting to be filled. When Clara first saw the boy on that gurney, something deep inside her whispered, "Now it's your turn to give the hug you never received." The days that followed were hard. The boy, still silent, was hospitalized for mild hypothermia and malnutrition. No family members came forward. The police suspected he had been abandoned during the storm by someone unable or unwilling to care for him. Clara, even when off duty, visited him daily. She brought toys, picture books, and soft blankets. She discovered that he loved drawing. Without words, he sketched trees, houses, and always, a woman with long hair holding a child's hand. Clara understood. In the silence of trauma, he was asking for a family. Each day, their bond deepened, invisible roots growing between two hearts that had both been waiting a lifetime to find each other. Clara met with the hospital's social worker, who explained, "It's not easy, Clara. Adoption processes are slow and you're single. It could take a long time." But Clara, calm and unwavering, replied, "I don't care how long it takes. I'll be his family." It was a promise, made heart to heart. The weeks passed. Clara and the boy became inseparable. She learned that he loved strawberry ice cream, feared thunder, and laughed softly at pictures of animals. Even though he still didn't speak, their connection was undeniable. But life rarely rewards love without testing it. One cold morning, Clara was summoned to the hospital director's office. Inside were the social worker and a stern-looking man in a dark suit, holding a folder. "Clara," said the social worker, her voice heavy, "relatives of the boy have come forward." Clara felt the ground tilt beneath her. "Relatives? Who?" The man introduced himself as a lawyer. "The boy's maternal grandmother has filed for custody. She claims she didn't know her daughter had abandoned him. She wants to take him to live in a rural town." Clara's heart shattered. She knew the law prioritized biological family ties. But what about love? What about the bond they had already formed? "He doesn't even know her," Clara protested, tears threatening her voice. "Unfortunately," replied the social worker, "emotional ties aren't enough. The law favors blood relations." Clara left the office like a ghost. Losing the boy would be more than heartbreak. It would be like losing a piece of her very soul. Days passed in a painful blur. Clara kept visiting him, kept smiling, pretending nothing would change. But Gabriel, perceptive beyond his years, sensed something was wrong. His drawings changed. The trees became bare. The houses closed. Around the hospital, whispers echoed, "Poor Clara. She's already his mother in every way that matters. Maybe a miracle will happen." A silent war was being waged between cold bureaucracy and the fierce, undeniable pull of love. And when everything seemed lost, an unexpected turn of events changed everything. The day of the hearing arrived. Clara, dressed in simple white, sat trembling in the courtroom. Across from her were the social worker and the grandmother's lawyer. The judge, a weary but attentive man, skimmed the files. The boy sat beside Clara, clutching her hand tightly. When the grandmother testified, her story seemed rehearsed. "I want to care for my grandson. Give him the family he deserves." But under questioning, holes appeared in her story. She barely knew the boy's full name, couldn't state his birthday. Worse, background checks revealed a history of neglect involving her own children. The judge frowned. He called the social worker to speak. "Your Honor," she said firmly, "the only real figure of love and care in this child's life has been Nurse Clara. Separating them now would be another act of violence." Silence gripped the room. The judge requested a private conversation with the boy. When he returned minutes later, he held a shaky drawing made by the child. On the paper, drawn in trembling lines, were Clara, the boy, and a single, carefully written word, "Mommy." The judge sighed deeply. Family isn't made by blood alone. It's made by love, presence, and care. This boy has already chosen his mother. In front of everyone, in front of tears, gasps, and stunned silence, the judge granted custody to Clara. Clara knelt and hugged Gabriel tightly, as if anchoring them both to the earth. Two wounded souls had found healing in each other. Do you believe love is stronger than blood? Have you ever witnessed a story where the heart spoke louder than the law? Tell us in the comments. We'd love to hear your story. The following months were a new beginning. Clara and Gabriel, now officially mother and son, built their life together, day by day. Gabriel, once silent and wary, blossomed. One ordinary morning, while Clara made breakfast, he said his first full word, "Mommy." Clara collapsed to her knees, crying and laughing at the same time, holding him like she would never let go. Gabriel learned to ride a bike. He played soccer. He laughed without fear. At the hospital, Clara continued to work, but everyone noticed something different. A glow. A piece she had never carried before. She had finally found the missing part of herself. One day, the hospital honored her with a plaque in the pediatric wing. "Where love surpasses duty. Tribute to Clara and Gabriel." The phrase stayed engraved not just on the wall, but in the hearts of everyone who passed by. Clara knew raising Gabriel would bring challenges. Life wasn't promising to be easy, but now she had something that made her invincible. The love of a son. And Gabriel had what he had never dared to dream of. A mother who would fight for him, no matter what. If this story touched you, wait until you see the next one. It's even more emotional. Click the video on the screen and come feel the love with us.